This is kohlrabi, a vegetable with which I have a very special relationship. Why? Because it basically saved my father's life. In 1945, the Soviets entered Hungary to drive out the Germans, but not before the Germans had taken some 420,000 Hungarian Jews to concentration camps in Germany and in Poland, most of whom were gassed. My mother survived, but my four grandparents did not. My father had managed to hide from the Germans and was, quote, liberated when the Soviets entered Hungary, although liberated isn't exactly the right term because he was put into a Soviet labor camp. Not very good conditions, but with two friends, they escaped. They were chased, but luckily they found a cave in which to hide, and they hid in that cave for 6 months. How did they survive? Luckily, they were seen by a peasant lady who took pity on them. She brought them food. She didn't have very much, but she grew kohlrabi. And that is essentially what they lived on for 6 months. Now, kohlrabi is a very interesting vegetable. It's in the cruciferous family, along with broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage, and it has a very similar taste. Now, of course, all vegetables are healthy, and cruciferous ones particularly so. Why? Because they contain a large variety of antioxidants and also glucosinolates. Now, if you go by cell culture studies and animal trials and some human epidemiological evidence, these cruciferous vegetables are very effective at managing free radicals in our body. Now, those are these rogue species, a product of aging as well, that can destroy tissues. And if you have substances that can kind of neutralize them, that of course is deemed to be very desirable, and cruciferous vegetables are in that category. Of course, they're not miraculous, and nothing should be labeled as a superfood, but these have a very low glycemic index, which means that they're okay for diabetics. Uh, the vegetables also are high in a number of vitamins. Kohlrabi is very high in vitamin C. It also has a good dose of potassium and also of insoluble fiber. Now, fiber, of course, acts as a prebiotic, meaning that it is food for the beneficial bacteria that grow in our gut. So, how do you eat kohlrabi? There are many ways. You can peel it and eat it raw. Tastes just like cabbage or a radish. And you can also boil it and then mash it, kind of like mashed potatoes. You can bake it. You could even make home fries with it. It's a vegetable that is tasty, it is healthy, and of course, for me, it is steeped in memory as well of my family history. And amazingly, after the war, my father and the lady, Agnes, reconnected. And when I was growing up, they used to mail each other, and she would send us packages of farm fresh butter, eggs, goose fat, and yes, kohlrabi. So that's why I have a special relationship with it. And interestingly enough, there's a scientific association too. If you look at this carefully, it kind of resembles the Sputnik, the first Soviet satellite. So now I think you understand why I have a very special relationship with kohlrabi. And that for today is our Cup of Joe.